Hello! In this Coolgrad video, we're going to talk about studying in the University of Alabama, Huntsville. So Huntsville is an important city in the state of Alabama in the United States, and we're going to talk about this university. It's a tier 2 university. It's not like the in the top 20 or anything, but it's still a popular destination for Indian students who are planning to study abroad. So let's take a look at where Alabama is located. So this is a map of the United States, and the state of Alabama is located here. So AL is Alabama. This state in red that you see is Alabama. It's in the southeast corner of the United States in the central time zone. So this is the eastern time zone, this is central, this is mountain time zone, and this is Pacific time zone. So Alabama is located over here. And what are the states neighboring Alabama? So on the west we have Mississippi, and on the north we have Tennessee, on the right we have Georgia, on the south we have Florida, and below that there is the Gulf of Mexico, the ocean. So if you see the important cities in Alabama, we have Huntsville over here, all the way at the top of Alabama, and there's Birmingham over here, one of the most popular cities of Alabama. There's another university, University of Alabama Birmingham over here. University of Alabama Huntsville is over here. They all belong to the University of Alabama system, but they're each individual separate universities. So there's Tuscaloosa, there's another university here. There's Auburn University over here in Auburn. Montgomery is the capital of Alabama, and Mobile is over here. So we're going to talk about the University of Alabama Huntsville, which is over here. So if you look at Georgia over here, Atlanta is over here. It's one of the nearest airports to Huntsville. So if you're flying to the University of Alabama Huntsville, either you could fly to Birmingham International Airport and then drive up here about an hour, or you could fly to Atlanta, which is a very popular international airport, and from here it's about I guess a 2 hours drive to Huntsville. So this is a bigger map of the state of Alabama. As you can see, the star over here is Montgomery, the capital. Mobile is here, Tuscaloosa, and then Auburn and Tuskegee, and then Birmingham, and then there is Huntsville at the top. These are the top cities of Alabama. So the weather of Alabama. So typical subtropical weather. It's kind of hot, humid, warm, mild weather, hot summers, mild winters, and the average annual temperature is about 64 degrees Fahrenheit or 18 degrees Celsius. Average rainfall of about 56 inches. Hailstorms occur occasionally in the spring and summer. So heavy fogs are rare. Hailstorms, they do occur occasionally, so it's not foggy, it's usually kind of crispy and warm. And thunderstorms occur throughout the year. Hurricanes are quite common in the state. And although snow is a rare event in much of Alabama, areas of the state north of Montgomery may receive a dusting of snow a few times every winter, with an occasional moderately heavy snowfall every few years. So Alabama is not always equipped to solve the roads when it snows rarely, so ice on the roads can cause cars to skid and cause traffic jams and accidents. You know, like up in the north where there's a lot of snow, the state government is equipped with machines to salt the roads. So when you add salt on the ice and the snow, it melts, and the cars won't skid and people don't skid, so they can use the roads. But if the state is going to receive snowfall only maybe 2 or 3 days or 1 week in a year, they're not really well equipped, and they don't know when the snowfall might happen. They're not equipped to salt the roads, so sometimes they can't see where the ice is located, and even people can't see when they're walking or when they're driving, and the cars skid and get into accidents and all the stuff. So when it does snow in places like Alabama or like North Carolina or Atlanta, only a few days a year, you have to be really careful. You have to have chains, special kinds of chains on your tires, or you better avoid driving, better take a cab or carpool or something. You have to be very careful on those few days that it does snow, because you can't really see the ice on the street. So some of the interesting facts about Alabama. Alabama State is named after the Alabama River, which in turn was named after a Native American tribe called Alabama that inhabited the region. The tribe's name is probably derived from a Choctaw language word, Alba Emo, meaning vegetation gatherer, referring to the tribe's expertise in collecting herbs to use as medicine. People from Alabama are called Alabamians. Alabama became the 22nd state of USA on December 14, 1819. Called the Yellowhammer State. The yellowhammer is not a tool, but a woodpecker bird. So each state is called by a particular name. Like uh, Alabama is the Yellowhammer State. Some other state might be the icy state, or something might be like they're named after different animals and birds and stuff. So the yellowhammer is not a hammer; it's a type of bird, a woodpecker. Alabama, some more interesting facts. The capital of Alabama is Montgomery, but most people live in the Birmingham area. Alabama workers built the first rocket to put humans on the moon. Now that's interesting. So the first rocket that took the astronauts to the moon, it was built by people in Alabama. Alabama's major industries are agriculture, poultry, steel making, and mining. None of Alabama's lakes are natural. Red Mountain lies immediately south of downtown. Many of Birmingham's television and radio broadcast towers are lined along this prominent ridge. In 1836, Alabama became the first state in the United States to declare Christmas as a holiday. Some more interesting facts. The world's first electric trolley system was introduced in Montgomery in 1886. Hitler's typewriter survived from his mountain retreat and is exhibited at the Hall of History in Bessemer. The Birmingham airport opened in 1931. At the time of the opening, a Birmingham to Los Angeles flight took 19 hours. Now it will probably take about 5 hours, 5 to 6 hours. But in 1931 it took 19 hours. Oh my God. Mail is delivered by boat in Magnolia Springs, Alabama. This is the only all-water mail route in the United States. Alabama is the only state with all of the natural resources to make iron and steel. So, some more quick facts. There are a lot of hunters in Alabama, which means a lot of guns. It's normal to see gun racks on vehicles, especially in the more rural areas. If you're new to Alabama, if you're like an Indian student who's going there for the first time and you see a lot of guns, gun racks on the cars, people carrying guns, it's nothing to be afraid of. It doesn't mean they're bad people, but it's mostly for like hunting. So they have gun racks and they have these big guns. So they usually use it only like in the hunting season to hunt deer and other animals which they are legally allowed to hunt. In Scottsboro, that's a city in Alabama, there is a store called the Unclaimed Baggage Center, which buys lost luggage from airlines. So a lot of people lose their luggage on the airlines, and sometimes they never claim it, and there's all this unclaimed baggage. Have you ever wondered what happens to it? There is a store in Alabama called the Unclaimed Baggage Center. So they purchase this kind of lost luggage from the airlines. They sell items that remain unclaimed within the airlines for 3 months, and all attempts by the airlines to contact the owners were failed. So they buy such luggage and they sell it to people. It's interesting, right? So what are the airports in Alabama? Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport, BHM. Huntsville International Airport, HSV. So if you're flying to the University of Alabama Huntsville, there is an international airport in Huntsville. But it may not have as many flights as like Atlanta Airport, for example. It may not be as big. So some people prefer to fly to Atlanta and then drive up there, or to Birmingham, and some people fly directly to Huntsville. So you might want to like check out the tickets nearby and then weigh your options. Dothan Regional Airport, Mobile Regional Airport, Montgomery Regional Airport, Muscle Shoals, Northwest Alabama Regional Airports. So remember, regional airports, they don't usually support international flights. So maybe if you fly to Atlanta and then take a flight from there to this airport, then you can probably get in there. But it doesn't have like a direct flight, for example, from like Mobile to Mumbai, or like Mobile to Frankfurt. I don't think they have too many flights. It's just like a regional airport. That's the difference between an international airport and a regional airport. So if you're flying to Huntsville, you'll probably go to the Huntsville International Airport or the nearby Birmingham or Atlanta airports and then drive up from there. So this is a map of Alabama with the top cities. We've already gone over this. Huntsville, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Mobile. So let's talk about Huntsville. The size is about 210 square miles, approximately about 186,000 people as of the year 2016. It's the fourth largest city of Alabama. It grew across nearby hills north of the Tennessee River, adding textile mills, factories, NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center, etc. public transport in Alabama. So there are a lot of buses, bus stations, trains available. They may not be as frequent. It's not, certainly not like New York City, but they do have some public transport. You can travel from Birmingham to Atlanta, 146 miles, about 2.5 hours. Birmingham to Tallahassee is about 300 miles, just to give you an idea. So from this you would add another hour to go up north to Huntsville. So if you're driving, say, Huntsville to Tallahassee, Florida, it would be probably about 360 miles. It would take you about 6 hours. From Birmingham to Mobile is about 260 miles. So just to give you an idea of the distance. So if you look at this, Birmingham to Mobile is about say 3.5 hours or something, and then Birmingham to Florida, Tallahassee down south would be about 5 hours. So from here another 1 hour to go up north to Huntsville. So top universities in Alabama would be University of Alabama Tuscaloosa, University of Alabama Birmingham, University of Alabama Huntsville, Alabama State University in Montgomery. Tier 2 universities: University of North Alabama in Florence, University of South Alabama Mobile, University of West Alabama Livingston, University of Mobile in Pritchard, Auburn University, Jacksonville State University, Troy University, Troy, Samford University in Birmingham, University of Montevallo in Montevallo. So the University of Alabama Huntsville, so this is their logo, it's called the UAH. So a brief history of the University of Alabama Huntsville. The genesis for a publicly funded institution of higher education in Huntsville was many years in the making. So in 1950, as an extension of the University of Alabama and known as the University of Alabama Huntsville Center, classes were first taught at West Huntsville High School. Even though Huntsville had been home to Alabama Agriculture and Mechanical College since 1975 and Oakwood University since 1896, this was still the era of segregation. The Germans insisted that engineering should be taught near their base at the Redstone Arsenal at a new university that white students could attend, and Alabama A&M was for black students only. So they went through all this racial segregation and stuff. But it's at least more than half a century old. That's all you need to know, the takeaway from that. So this is the engineering department of the University of Alabama Huntsville. And then we have the department rankings. So the business school is ranked lower than 100 in the US. So if you see all of these departments, law school, computer science, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, medical school, they're all ranked lower than 100 in the US. But it's still a popular destination for Indian students. I mean, not everybody can make it to Harvard or Stanford or MIT. So there's tier 2 universities which are also good in the sense the cost of living is low, the tuition is low, and finally, they're able to get good jobs. So a lot of Indian students do prefer tier 2 universities. So University of Alabama Huntsville, the business school, so it's ranked lower than 100. This is the building of the business school. This is the computer science department. It's a beautiful campus over here, green with a lot of trees and flowers and a very nice beautiful building. It's also ranked lower than 100, but it's still a popular destination. And as long as you're able to get a good job after graduation, it's okay. So there's the electrical department. This is the electrical department building. And then there's the mechanical engineering department. This is the building. It's also ranked lower than 100. So there's the civil engineering department, also ranked lower than 100, but it's again a very beautiful campus. And remember that for people who grew up there, it's a very popular choice, this university, and also for international students because the cost of living is low. And then there's all these local companies which do hire people from these universities. So this is the law school, also ranked lower than 100. And then this is the medical school. It's another beautiful building. It's not one of the most sought after, but it is, a popular destination, especially for the people who grew up in Alabama, if they want to continue to be in the state. So do remember that there are a lot of employers in Alabama which give employment and campus recruitment for students from the University of Alabama Huntsville. And then the last I heard, when I've been corresponding with the students who studied there, and quite a few of them had teaching assistantships, research assistantships, and some of them had funding too, like partial tuition waiver and things like that. Most of the PhD students are usually funded, but I'm talking about master students, and quite a few of them had assistantships and support from the university to help meet their living expenses. So monthly rent in Huntsville as of the year 2016. Now that we're talking about the cost of living in Huntsville, Alabama. So a furnished studio would be about $700 to $1,400. A furnished 1 bed 1 bath apartment about $900 to $1,350. Furnished 2 bed 2 bath apartment would be about $1,300 to $2,100. So most Indian students, they take like a 2 bed 2 bath apartment and share it with like 2 or 3 or 4 people. So you'll be looking at somewhere, let's say around $1,600 per month for a 2 bed 2 bath apartment. So if you're sharing it with 4 people, so you'll have half a bedroom for and half a bathroom for yourself. I mean, like you'll have to share the bedroom and bathroom, then you'll probably still be paying about $400 a month. And if you're having a 2 bed 2 bath apartment and you're like sharing with just one more person, then you'll still be looking to spend about $700 to $800 a month. So you have to know what the approximate cost of living is like. And if you can afford it, you can take a 1 bed 1 bath apartment for yourself. So about $900 to $1,000 per month. The cost of purchasing a home in Huntsville. So cost of a 1 bed 1 bath house approximately $40,000 to $100,000. You can probably buy a small house. And then cost of a 3 bed 3 bath house approximately $140,000 to $300,000. So it's not a very expensive place to live in. And then there's 5 bed 5 bath house, approximately $200,000 to $400,000 or maybe even more. See, there are so many factors involved in purchasing a house. Depends on the popularity of the schools nearby, and then there's the factors like whether it's close to the university, whether it's in a gated community. They have ratings of the areas, whether it's close to a golf course, whether it's close to a lake. All these factors determine the neighborhood, the safety. So many things are involved in determining the price of a house. So if it's a gated community, it might be much more expensive. So, but I'm just giving you an approximate idea of how much it costs. And if you want to really look at the cost of apartments and what apartments are in this city, you would probably look at apartments.com. It's a good place. You can just filter it, add the city Huntsville, Alabama, and then pick whichever city you want and then look up apartments.com. And then if you're thinking about buying homes, you look at like homes.com or zillow.com. These are websites where you can get an idea of the cost of living in these places. Indian restaurants in Huntsville. So there's Sitar Indian cuisine, Curry in a Hurry, India Palace. So there are a few Indian restaurants in Huntsville. So top employers in Alabama. So Huntsville Hospital System, Boeing Company, NASA Marshall Space Flight Center, Sinran, Sanmina SCI Corporation, Intergraph Corporation, SAIC, Adtran, Siemens, University of Alabama in Huntsville itself is a popular employer. Teledyne Brown Engineering. So these are some of the top companies that recruit students from these universities. So this brings us to the end of this video about studying in the University of Alabama, Huntsville. I hope you find this useful. Thank you.